Hey, folks, this clip is brought to you by Rattle and Snap Tennessee Whiskey from Logsdale Distillery. Make your own luck, just like Tennessee football's fast paced Rattle and Snap offense with Rattle and Snap Tennessee Whiskey. We'll finish off with some predictions for Omaha. Omaha! But the final sponsor for the segment is not Omaha Steaks. It is, in fact, Rattle and Snap Tennessee Whiskey. You know what goes great with a Tennessee sports victory like the one that takes Tennessee to the College World Series? A great whiskey. And I'm talking specifically about Rattle and Snap Tennessee Select Straight Whiskey. Logsdale Distillery has released a Tennessee whiskey product line called Rattle and Snap. Named after a long-forgotten game of chance, Rattle and Snap is a whiskey for those who make their own luck. There's a 4-year and an 8-year version of Rattle and Snap. If you're looking at the YouTube, you can see the 4-year version over there in the corner. I've got the 4-year and I've had the 8-year. They're both incredible. They go great in cocktails. They're great neat, just in a glass. Go get you a bottle, because also the bottle looks great on a shelf too. You can, as I said, you can see it there on the YouTube video. So you can find it in stores all across Tennessee. Go grab you one. And it's also available in Kentucky, Indiana, and Mississippi. So run and don't walk to get some Rattle and Snap Tennessee whiskey for those Tennessee sports victories, because we all know there's more to come. Follow Rattle and Snap on Instagram at Rattle and Snap Whiskey. That is Rattle and Snap Tennessee Select Straight Whiskey. Let's finish with this, Zach. LSU, Saturday night, probably. I guess the times haven't been released yet.
I think
maybe
it is 7 Eastern. Is the
7 Eastern. Okay. I just hadn't seen it. I've been running around like crazy. 7 Eastern. Presumably it's going to be Paul Skeens versus Andrew Lindsay, potentially. I mean, do you switch it up, though, and go with one of your better aces?
I mean, I guess it can set up however you want it, really. You got enough time, enough off time.
Yeah, and I think Lindsay, he had a really bad game in that first game against Southern Miss. And so hopefully he's motivated and can come in. Who knows exactly who they're going to start there. But essentially, I mean, Skeens is a monster. He's going to go play pro ball after this.
He's going to be a top 10, top 5 pick.
Exactly. Like he just is ridiculous. And their lineup hitting is absolutely stacked. Now, if you could move past Skeens in the bullpen, I think you give yourself a really, really good chance. I don't think they are anywhere close to as deep as Tennessee is. Who is, frankly, in college baseball right now. Tennessee is just deep with great pitchers. But can Tennessee move on past LSU in this opening game? Because you would play then one of Wake Forest or Stanford. I would say hopefully Stanford, although Wake Forest is just killing everybody. I mean, what they beat Alabama 22-4 or something in that final game. Ridiculous.
Yeah, their pitching's great and their lineup is pretty stacked. But hey, anybody's beatable. But when it comes to this Tennessee LSU game, I mean, you've played them once in Baton Rouge. You lost 2 out of 3. The 2 games you lost were pretty close, though. That game you lost to Skeens was a 2-2 game, and LSU scored 3 unearned runs to win 5-2. They tagged Skeens for a run. He pitched 7 innings, struck out 12. I think it's an advantage that Tennessee has seen him. I mean, obviously LSU's gonna have that same advantage, but Skeens is, he's the best pitcher in America that in college baseball right now. So I think it's more of an advantage for Tennessee that they've seen him. It's a winnable game. This isn't. I think Wake Forest is a much better team not much better, but a better team or a tougher opponent than LSU. I think you've proven that you can beat LSU. You've proven that you can go toe-to-toe with Skeens and get late into the game and it be a tied game. I think, like you said, getting him out of the game, getting to that bullpen will be key. And you can do that, but it's going to require Tennessee to have some competitive long at-bats. He strikes out a lot of guys, so he's going to have a higher pitch count if you can work deep into those counts. If you're going, striking out on 3 pitches, putting the ball in play early in the at-bat, I mean, he could pitch 8-9 innings if he's feeling it, and you definitely don't want that. So trying to work long at-bats as much as you can, staying in them, making him throw a lot of pitches, trying to get traffic, working some walks if he does walk anybody. He only walked 1 in their meeting in Baton Rouge, but, that comes with trying to work those deep counts. I think that's the key to winning this game. Unless you just come out and jump all over him in like the first or second inning, which is I don't think you can count on. I mean, Tennessee's capable of doing that, but I don't think you can count on that happening. I think the plan has to be trying to get him out of this game early.
It's a good point by Volunteered 77 here. He says Tennessee was a different ball club when
Mm-hmm.
they played LSU earlier this year. That's
And
absolutely true.
they were still tight games.
Yeah, they were close thin, and you are playing better baseball now. We've already talked about it. You're far more cohesive now. You went through the most adverse part of the season already, which if you really think about it, it was the getting blown out by Arkansas, swept by Arkansas, and then you just get smashed by Tennessee Tech, which still, what an inexplicable game that was in Lindsey Nelson. And then it's been pretty great since then, frankly. You went the next week and swept Vandy, and here we are. But so you've seen adversity. You are absolutely a different baseball team. When you went to LSU to play that game, you really had a target on your back because it was still really presumed that Tennessee was a super powerhouse team, and obviously we found that they're not that good. Overall, they can beat any of these teams and win a national championship. They are that good, but they're not as good as last year's team. And so I think this just has such a different feel. I said it before. Tennessee has nothing to lose. What do you have to lose besides going out there and beating a team that everybody thinks you're going to lose to? That's it. You're going to be the underdog in this game in Vegas. You're going to be the underdog on paper in general and to most people watching. And so just go out there, be loosey goosey, go win this game. If you're Andrew Lindsey, why would you play with any amount of tenseness? Anything there's none of this. Like even this USM series came with a little bit of that because you were the better team. Let's be honest about what it was. Tennessee was the better baseball team. They were better. They were SEC baseball players compared to Group of 5 baseball players. So there was a little bit of that, and Tennessee was the betting favorite also in that series. But nobody thinks you're going to beat LSU. LSU's been a monster this postseason. So just go out there and win this game and just do it for everybody because God, what a story it would be. That would just be unbelievable if you could pull this off. God, I mean, come on. That making it to the College World Series is one thing, and it's truly incredible, especially given the history of Tennessee baseball. It just doesn't happen very often. But man, if you could win this, maybe get to the final series, something like that at a minimum. And so I'll ask you, Zach. Hey, folks, this clip is brought to you by Rattle and Snap Tennessee Whiskey from Lockstill Distillery. Make your own luck, just like Tennessee football's fast-paced Rattle and Snap offense with Rattle and Snap Tennessee Whiskey. Is Tennessee going to win a national championship?
I mean, that's really hard because the way these brackets break down and everything.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But I will say, I think, you know what? I think they beat LSU Saturday. I think all the pressure's on LSU and Wake Forest in these final 8. I think those are the two teams that people are kind of expecting to win it all. One of those two teams. So I think they're the ones that are going to have the pressure, and that can be tough to deal with. I think they beat LSU. Beyond that, I'm not sure what happens because they're in that same bracket with Wake Forest, and they really are just humming along right now at a rate that's pretty insane. It's hard to see them losing. So I think I'm not going to say Wake wins it all because who knows what can happen in one of those last games or so. But I think Tennessee will have trouble getting past them. I think they beat LSU. I don't think they make the final though.
Wake is definitely your best team just in totality at the moment. Now, who knows better than Tennessee that
Man, you can go cold at any time.
What does that mean? Tennessee, you had people last year, multiple people, national guys going, this is one of the best college baseball teams of all time. People were unsarcastically saying exactly that last season. And you didn't even make it to the College World Series. Now you're in the College World Series with a team that's not as good as that one. And I agree. I do. This is what Tennessee's done so far in this. They've gone into these improbable circumstances and won. And I agree. It's a murderer's row to win a national title. I'll say Tennessee does not win a national title because it just is. I mean, the odds. But I say that.
How did they put Wake Forest and LSU in the same side of the bracket? That's what I don't understand.
Whose idea was that? But just the odds there for Tennessee But I say that, and at the same time, the odds that Tennessee would get to where they are now are crazy low. What did we say last week? There was a 4.9% chance of Tennessee beating Clemson when Clemson had 3 runners on, no outs in the 10th. I mean, you've overcome ridiculous odds.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll just say there are just so many good teams. That Stanford team is really good. That Stanford team is really good.
Yeah, they could be Wake. I mean, they could not Wake off and really screw the whole thing up. I mean, that's why this is so hard to predict.
So I do agree. They send a shock through the system, beating LSU, but it just eventually does catch up to them. But hey, man, with that pitching, you never know.
I think if Dolander had been a little more consistent, I know he went 8 innings the last game, but he still gave up those, runs early. I think if he had been a little more consistent, I'd feel a little bit better about this, because I think you got to have like 3 guys that are just in their groove at the right time to win the College World Series. And I think Wake Forest has that with their 3 guys with, Rhett Lauder and Hartle and Seth Keener there. But I don't know. That's the one hang up I have with this team right now.
Well, we'll see. I guess it won't even be over by the time we do our show next. So we'll even be able to talk about it even then. But I
in fact, if it is possible, then we might have to do the show Tuesday again next week.
Yes. Depending on what happens.
There is a game scheduled for in their side of the bracket for next Monday night at 7 Eastern. So we'll see if Tennessee's in that game.
Yeah, it could happen.
Hopefully they will be, because that's the winner. If they win, that's when they'll play.
Yeah, because would that be to go to the final, which would be the following weekend, I think.
No, I think you still would have to. I'm not sure, really. There might be an if necessary game in there, because you'd have to, Yeah,
it's convoluted.
Yeah,
but we'll play it by ear. So if Tennessee loses, show's probably gonna be on Monday. If they're winning, it might be on Tuesday.
With a much different tone.
Yes, exactly. We'll see. But man, it's just so exciting they made the College World Series anyway. What a season so far. What a year of Tennessee sports. What 3 years of Tennessee sports. It's been just ridiculous. But I think that's it. Charlie Burris, Zach Reagan. Thank you to everybody who dropped in, volunteered 77, JL, Mr. Jones, Vols on top. Who else? Ben, Nugs. There was a bunch. Mitch, Carl, everybody for commenting. Thank you, Gabriel. Everybody who commented. Thank you. It means the world that you tune into this show, that you give your precious time to watch this. Seriously, it's humbling every week, so we really appreciate it. But that is it. A to Z, subscribe, rate, review, do all the things. You know where to find us. You're here, and that's it. We'll talk to y'all next week.
See you guys later.